Hey ladies, welcome back. How you doing? How you doing? I am just drudging out. Is that even the word, drudging out? I am banging out some solo episodes and I am challenging myself to keep these to shorter episodes. It's funny, when I first started doing these solo episode, I was so scared. I was so scared that I wasn't going to have enough to say or how to say it. And thanks to you, I've learned that you're all really enjoying these solo episodes. And so I'm coming back. People want to hear more about my story behind the scenes, how I'm getting to this level of life and fitness and marriage and parenting. Like as though I figured it out. It's like I got the golden ticket, which is such a lie. The honest truth is I still don't know what I'm doing, but every day is something new and it's a celebration. So here we are. Today, we're talking about not having to go at it alone. And why this came up, because when I reflected back on my success as an entrepreneur and running PR agencies and even doing this podcast and hosting the Pink Skirt Project, I realized that what made it fun and made it feel safer was finding people to partner with. So this was for me in my previous agency, was having a co-founder. It meant for the Pink Skirt Project, which was my vision, kind of my story, seeing it come to light, but also realizing that I wanted to do this with somebody else. And I remember the moment when the time was so right for me to launch this idea for the event, which was, the idea of it came about in like 2017. But I finally came through with the idea for this event and the fact that it's not just an event. The Pink Skirt Project is a movement. And I met this incredible woman. Her name is Anita Parker. She and I shared a stage over a year ago at an event in Kelowna, and we just connected. She is so dialed into the community here in Kelowna, BC, that it inspired me to reach out. So as the story goes, I was wanting to do this event, and I had this place in mind called the Metro Hub in Kelowna. Dan and I are, I guess, investors. We donated some money for the renovations for this place, and now it's become a really cool hub that just attracts businesses and events and galas, and they do church on Sundays. And this idea of the Pink Skirt Project and this venue was like, it needed to happen. This was just the calling instinct of it felt good. And I kept talking about it. Now, I'd never done an event this big before. I've hosted workshops and master classes, and I've participated in helping bigger events, but never anything on my own. So I was going to bed one night and I was saying, I don't want to do this alone, but I feel like I need to. And my husband turned to me and says, you know what? You need to find a partner that can go 50-50 on risk with you. That was a doozy, because I needed his support. The way we work is whenever we're going to do something courageous, we talk about it with each other. And then we kind of look at what the edges are. We look at what the risk is, and we either jump in or we don't. And in this case, he said to find a partner. And I tried this before with a couple other incredible women, and the timing was off. So they say a third time's a charm, but also it's like once burned, twice shy. So at this point, having had conversations with two other women, I realized this is my last chance to be able to do this with somebody else. So anyway, I took my makeup off. I was jumping into bed, and it occurred to me that Anita is probably the perfect person for this. But she already has a business. She already does events. She's already busy with wisdom, wealth, well-being, and all these things. So I was like, you know what, Dan? I actually think I know who it is. It's Anita. And he said, yes, yes, that's it. Because we love her. She's great. She's amazing. So I kind of sat on that for a couple of days. And then finally I reached out to her and I said, hey, Anita, I have this crazy wild idea. And keep in mind, we don't really know each other that well. And I asked her, listen, I want to put on this event at the Metro called the Pink Skirt Project. Here's a quick download what it is. And I was wondering if you wanted to jump on board and be my co-host for this event. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. We would go 50-50 on risk. So immediately I was going in with like risk, but I knew she was going to say yes. And immediately she was like a visceral, full body, yes, let's do this. What do you need? Which blew my mind. So yeah, I could have gone at it alone, 100%. But there is nothing more fulfilling, nothing more rewarding than doing something extremely challenging with other people. So when I reflected back on these instances in my life of when I did something courageous, even whether I was like actually doing it alone, I still had people there. And so if there's anything in your life that you want to do and pursue and you're afraid to go at it alone, find somebody to do it with. It could be a CrossFit competition. Like the first time I ever podiumed at a CrossFit competition was for a partner workout, for a partner competition. And we came third and it was great, but I would never have pushed myself that hard or been so accountable or dedicated had it not been for working out with a partner. Same with business. Business is more fun when you have people that are also there. They see the vision and they want to achieve the dreams that you want to achieve. And so I wanted to do a quick download on if you're at this point in your business life or something, and even in your personal life, and you really want to go for it, but you don't want to do it alone. Here are some things that have helped me take the leap while doing it alone. Not while doing it alone, to find the partner I need to help see the vision past the finish line. So the first part is making like a Rolodex of all the people that you know that have done it before. This podcast is all about getting advice from somebody who has successfully done it before. Who in your life, whether it's an acquaintance or somebody that you know really well, has done it before? What's their experience factor? Do you recognize any patterns in their successes? Have they done this before in raising money? Have they done this before in building homes, in, winning CrossFit competitions, or even participating? Like the people who've already kind of blazed the trail. These are people that have the war wounds and they can write home and talk about it, but they also have this possibility of working with you that they don't know yet. And the hardest part is actually asking them if they'd be interested. Listen, like I said, I asked 2 other women before if they wanted to jump on board the Pink Skirt Project. One said yes, and we started doing a thing and it didn't work out. And the other one had cold feet, closer to as we were going to pull the trigger. She had cold feet, pulled out, and it just wasn't going to work out. But I always believe these things happen for a reason, because if I had gone through with those instances, again, incredible women, I wouldn't have landed to where I am at now with Anita. So I do believe that she was meant to come into my life to help me see this vision through. These are people that also, they're okay with accelerated learning, and they're also okay with doing things differently, because you're going to come in with your perspective and they're going to come in with their experience, and they might want to just navigate the whole ship because they've done it before. These are people that have accelerated learning. They have an open mind, and they'd be 100% willing to try things a little bit differently. You have to choose somebody that has aligned values. It is so tough to show up to a meeting, to a recording, to an event, whatever it is you're doing, if they have such differing values. These are values in action and how they talk to people and how they blaze their own trails, if they're consistent, if they're kind. For instance, Anita, we were having a meeting at the studio, and this building has a bunch of other really cool organizations that could potentially be sponsors for the Pink Skirt Project. So we made this list. And I'm of this age where I send emails or send direct messages, maybe some text messages, but I rarely pick up the phone, and I never go into the place of business to make a cold call. So when she found out that one of the businesses in this building could potentially be a sponsor, she excused herself from the meeting and said she was going to the bathroom, and she was gone a little bit longer than I expected. And she came back. She's like, yeah, I went over and I popped into this company to see if anyone was there and who to talk to, and the right person wasn't there. And I looked at her thinking, oh my gosh, like she has the energy and the bravery and the confidence to just walk into a place unannounced and ask for a sale. I thought that is bold. And I am not only inspired by that, but it really moved me. And I was like, dang, girl, you got this. So shared values too, even in things like how we raised our kids, our fitness, family values, travel. Like there's so many shared values. And why this is important is because there's never going to ever be like the elephant in the room. Like I don't even think worst case scenario, but just think of somebody who has a value that is so far from what you believe, and then you try to go into business with them, it's going to be tough. Like these are foundational for anybody that's employed in my organization. These are foundational for anybody that is a vendor for us, a partner with us, is that if our values are so far off, it is going to be nearly impossible to do great work together and have fun doing it. And the biggest thing too is that they see the vision. You explain it to them once or twice and they just get it. They're like, yes, because I believe that if they can get it and they see it and they can add their little spin to it, that they've already been invited by God or spirit or source to be in that conversation. And the last thing too is like going to this next level of whatever it is you're doing in life and business is you got to find somebody who's going to be able to match your investment. And what I mean by this is they have equal skin in the game. They have reciprocal vulnerability and they have balanced contribution. So that's the hard part. You know, when you have a business partner or like even your husband or your wife or whomever, and they're quote 50-50 in this business and it's seemingly like they're not pulling the weight. You have to think about even marriage. Marriage isn't about keeping score. Marriage isn't about being 50-50 because balance is not possible. But in these instances, you have shared responsibility. When Anita and I first started planning for the Pink Skirt Project, we wrote out a very detailed itinerary because this went into our partnership agreement of the responsibility for the outcome for certain things, right? She's responsible for all this and I'm responsible for all of this. And of course, we're going to help each other. I'm not just going to sit here while I have an extra few minutes and watch her work her butt off. No, I'm going to contribute as much as I can. So in this moment, though, it's like she has equal skin in the game. So do I. She is equally okay being vulnerable. She is equally okay contributing on the levels that she signed up to contribute plus, plus, plus. But also the vulnerability and the authenticity and being open about where we stand in life. Like I'm traveling a lot and Anita's doing a lot of her events. And so there are moments when it's like, I can't physically be here to show up and she's overwhelmed by like these crazy, beautiful business seasons in her life. I'm not going to sit back and take score. It's stupid. And she doesn't do the same. But it's really important that when you're going into some sort of agreement with anybody, that you write out the responsibilities that everybody's own and the expected outcome. What's the outcome we are trying to achieve? We did a good, better, best in terms of revenue for this event and what a 10 out of 10 looks like at the end of the day. So this was important for me because if it's not the right energy, if it's not the right values, you can't match the fun. You can't match the dream. You can't go chase your dreams if you're weighed down by the fear of doing it alone or weighed down by choosing the wrong partner. And hey, listen, people change over time. And I know a lot of partnerships do not end well. So before you even go into bed with somebody is you date. You test a couple of projects out first and you see how it goes. And in this instant, it was just like, I was watching her and I just knew she was the one for this. So if you're afraid to go at it alone, whatever it is in business or in life or in a fitness journey, whatever, just know you don't have to do it alone. That there are people that are willing to go by your side, whether as a full-on sign an agreement partner or somebody who is just your accountability person, but you shouldn't do it alone. There's a lot of you that do love doing it alone, but let me tell you, if you're growing your business, you're never alone. If you have any questions about this, remember, always hit me up on Instagram, Renee_Warren. And if you are lonely in the business world, of course, you are invited to come out to the Pink Skirt Project June 12th in Kelowna, BC. Go check it out, thepinkskirtproject.com. Until next time, ladies, peace out.